Have you ever noticed how utterly confused our smart devices get for exactly 1 month every year?
Oh, absolutely. You wake up at 4 in the morning and your wrist suddenly starts buzzing, aggressively telling you your sleep score is terrible, your recovery is in the red, and you need to go back to bed immediately. Meanwhile, you are just quietly getting up for suhoor.
Exactly. It is almost comical. Our wearable technology is incredibly advanced, tracking everything from blood oxygen to heart rate variability, yet it is completely blind to one of the oldest, most profound biological and spiritual shifts experienced by nearly 2 billion people globally. We have built these hyper intelligent algorithms that treat Ramadan like a massive month long error in your daily routine.
Which is a massive missed opportunity, both scientifically and culturally. Because Ramadan is not an error. It is not just about skipping meals or simple calorie control. It is a complete circadian rhythm transformation. It is a profound metabolic adaptation, a nervous system recalibration, and a deeply emotional and spiritual discipline. When you look at the physiology of it, the body is undergoing a fascinating stress and recovery cycle. Yet, most health apps just look at it and say, your routine is broken.
That disconnect is exactly what makes the new Oxyzen Ramadan intelligence concept so fascinating. They are not just slapping a crescent moon icon on a standard fitness app and calling it a day. They are fundamentally rethinking what wearable technology should feel like during a period of spiritual fasting. They are introducing this idea of faith-aware health intelligence. And the more I look at the architecture of this concept, the more I realize this could completely change how we interact with our own biology.
It really could. Because the core philosophy here is shifting away from what we usually see in tech, which is fitness gamification. Think about your typical health app. It is full of loud neon colors, fireworks when you hit a step goal, rings closing, and constant dopamine hits. That entire design language feels completely wrong for a month dedicated to spiritual reflection and inner calm. OXYZEN is aiming for something they call spiritual minimalism. It is designed to feel respectful, calm, non-commercial, and scientifically deeply useful.
I love that phrase, spiritual minimalism. It sounds like the exact antidote to the modern attention economy. If you are fasting, the last thing you want is your watch nagging you like a hyperactive personal trainer. You want a silent, intelligent companion. Let us walk through how this actually works, starting from the very beginning of the day. How does the system handle the pre-dawn reality of suhoor?
This is where the biological intelligence really shines. Normally, an alarm jolts you awake, spiking your cortisol immediately. OXYZEN envisions a soft haptic vibration on the smart ring about 45 minutes before the suhoor cutoff. No aggressive sounds. On the app, you just see a subtle moon glow animation, but behind that simple interface, the system is doing some heavy lifting. It is looking at your heart rate variability from the previous day, your overnight temperature, and your resting heart rate to calculate a hydration readiness score.
That is incredibly practical. Dehydration is arguably the invisible enemy during a fast. People focus so much on the hunger, but it is the lack of water that actually tanks your cognitive function and energy levels by mid-afternoon.
Precisely, and the system might give you a very calm, specific insight. Something like, your heart rate variability is lower today. Prioritize hydration and slower energy expenditure. It is not diagnosing you. It is giving you a physiological weather report for the day ahead. It acts as a bridge between what your body is experiencing and what your mind needs to prepare for.
So you have your suhoor, the sun comes up, and the fast begins. This is usually the part where people just try to power through the day. How does the OxyZen experience visualize this daytime fasting mode? Because, again, we are avoiding that gamified, dopamine-heavy UI.
They use what they call the crescent progress arc. Instead of a bright flashing ring that you are desperately trying to close, it is a circular fasting ring that slowly, quietly fills throughout the day. The color palette is stunningly subdued matte golds, warm whites, deep midnight blues. It is inspired by Islamic geometry and desert tones. But underneath that calm surface, the ring is constantly monitoring your energy stability. It is tracking your movement variability, your temperature, and your stress load to give you a mental calm indicator.
That is a brilliant pivot. Instead of measuring how much you are doing, it is measuring how well you are sustaining your energy. It is tracking restraint. We have built an entire tech industry around measuring output, how many steps, how many calories burned, how many emails sent. Measuring restraint, measuring the body's ability to maintain equilibrium under the stress of fasting, is a completely different paradigm.
It is a totally different way of looking at human performance. And it gets even more profound when the sun sets. The iftar experience is usually a moment of celebration, and culturally, it is often a feast. But biologically, breaking a fast is a very delicate moment. When Maghrib arrives, the app does not throw digital confetti at you. It gives a gentle pulse on the ring with a simple message: time to break your fast. May your evening bring nourishment and peace. But what happens after that is where OXYZEN could absolutely dominate the market scientifically.
Right, because most fasting apps just stop tracking the moment you eat. They treat the fast as the only important part. But the post-iftar period is when the body actually has to process all that incoming energy. What is the ring looking for during this recovery phase?
It is looking at the meal load reflection. This is a huge blind spot for most people. After fasting all day, it is incredibly easy to overeat. But a heavy evening meal causes a massive spike in glucose, which forces your heart to work harder to digest it. The ring detects this. It sees the elevated nighttime heart rate, the suppressed HRV, and the rise in body temperature. And it gently points out heavy evening meals may reduce overnight recovery.
That is a harsh truth delivered in a very elegant way. It forces a moment of absolute honesty. You might feel great emotionally because you just had a wonderful feast with your family, but your nervous system is screaming, trying to process a massive metabolic load. By bringing awareness to that, you are essentially teaching people how to eat smarter, not just fast harder.
Exactly. And that flows directly into sleep prediction. Because if your heart rate stays elevated until 2 in the morning from a heavy meal, your sleep architecture is going to be fragmented. Add to that the fact that you might be staying up late for Taraweeh prayers and then waking up early again for suhoor. The sleep disruption is real. The app recognizes this rhythm without judging it. It might just say, earlier sleep tonight may improve tomorrow's fasting resilience. It is giving you the biological cost of your social choices.
I want to touch on the Taraweeh aspect, because this is where technology steps into a very sensitive area, tracking prayer rhythms. You mentioned the system does not score religiosity, which I think is the most crucial ethical decision they could have made.
It is the absolute line in the sand. Gamifying faith is a terrible idea. You cannot have a leaderboard for spirituality. The OXYZEN positioning is strictly, your fasting journey belongs to you. During the night mode, if it recognizes the movement patterns of prayer, it does not give you points. It simply factors that gentle, rhythmic movement into your recovery balance. It offers mindfulness prompts, not performance metrics.
That distinction is so vital. Tech has a habit of commodifying everything it touches. By refusing to score the spiritual aspect, they are actually protecting it. They are letting the technology be a mirror for the physical body, while leaving the spiritual journey entirely up to the individual. It makes me think about how this translates across different cultures, because the Muslim world is incredibly diverse. The way someone experiences Ramadan in Dubai is very different from how someone experiences it in Mumbai or London.
That is a core part of their market strategy. In the UAE and Saudi Arabia, you have a massive interest in premium wellness, biohacking, and luxury health intelligence. The messaging there is, Ramadan meets health intelligence. People want to optimize their fasting, maintain their muscle mass, and manage their energy for high-level corporate work. But in India and South Asia, the focus shifts. It becomes about family health, daily energy, and practical sleep support. It is about resilience. The same biological data is used, but the cultural application adapts.
It is fascinating to think about the long-term arc of this. A 29-day continuous feedback loop. Most people do not track anything consistently for a month. By day 14 or day 21, the insights must become incredibly personalized.
They do. The app has a daily reflection system. On day 3, it might tell you, the body is adapting to rhythm. By day 14, it shifts to, sleep timing becomes increasingly important. and by day 21, it delivers a profound insight. Your nervous system is learning restraint. You are not just looking at numbers, you are reading a narrative of your own biological adaptation. And when the crescent completes on the final day, the transition to Eid is framed as a culmination of discipline, reflection, and awareness.
Your nervous system is learning restraint. That is poetry disguised as data analysis. It really highlights the central thesis here. We spend so much time using technology to push ourselves to do more, consume more, and move faster. Here is a piece of technology designed to help you pause, restrict, and look inward. It is a biological mirror for a spiritual practice.
Which brings us back to that massive strategic opening in the wearable market. No major brand has deeply localized the physiology of Ramadan. They offer generic fasting timers, but combining faith, fasting, recovery science, and AI health insights into one cohesive, culturally respectful ecosystem, that is revolutionary. It opens the door to a completely underserved category globally.
It really does. It poses a philosophical question for the future of all wearable tech. Can our devices understand not just how our bodies move, but why we choose to move them, or why we choose to rest? If Oxyzen can successfully map the biological reality of a 29-day spiritual journey without cheapening the experience, they are not just building a better fasting app, they are proving that technology can actually honor human tradition instead of just trying to disrupt it.
That is exactly the point. It is not about disruption, it is about harmony. When you look at the tagline, "Understand your body through Ramadan," it perfectly encapsulates the mission. It is an invitation. It says that your faith and your biology are not separate entities fighting against each other. They are part of the same continuous loop. And for the first time, you have the intelligence to actually see that loop in real time.
It is a beautiful synthesis of the ancient and the cutting edge. It leaves you wondering how many other ancient human rhythms we have ignored simply because our modern tools were not empathetic enough to measure them. If a smart ring can help you find physical and mental clarity during a month of fasting, it truly becomes more than just a gadget. It becomes a testament to human endurance and the incredible adaptability of the body.